We are live now.
Hi. Could you wait for someone to join, or
We can actually start.
sorry?
Give me 1 minute.
Again, I can't hear your voice clearly, Dinesh.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, better.
Okay. Give me like 2 minutes. Let me
Yeah,
check.
sure.
Okay. Yeah. Um, okay. I think we can start.
Hi.
We are live now.
Hi.
Okay.
Could you wait for someone to join, or
This is that's it. Like we can actually start.
sorry?
Give me 1 minute.
Hello.
We can start.
Again, I can't hear your voice. Hello, everyone.
Can you hear me now?
Today, better. We're gonna look into a topic called animation montage. A little intro about
Give me
myself
like 2
and
minutes.
the organization
Let
that
me
I
check.
sure. I'm Naveen Thomas.
Okay.
I am part of an
Yeah.
organization called Xogar Games. This is a startup game development in Bangalore, and we are a very small team, and we are working on a combat racing game with almost AAA level art and AAA level assets used in this game. And we are trying to make it as realistic as possible with exciting combat as well as racing features. So this topic that we're going to talk about today, animation montage, is I would say a beginner to intermediate level topic. A lot of you might be already using this.
Really?
Very few are new to this who would want to know why
ஒரு
we
live
use
join
animation
okay
montage. There are multiple ways, I would say, that we can play animation in Unreal. The most standard way that we've already seen is using the state machine. So when we take an example of third-person character in Unreal, you have something called as animation blueprint. So animation blueprint gives you a state machine that you use, and this state machine basically controls most of your animation. So since there's already a state machine, a way to play animation using state machine, the question now is, why do we need animation montage? What's the use of animation montage? What better things that we can do with animation montage than using a state machine directly? So to come to that, let's give an introduction. Animation montage. Sorry, it is a full screen, right? Already. Oh, okay. Sorry. You meant to say it this way? Review or something, right? Okay. I mean, okay, it will be a little hard for me to jump between this and the Unreal. That's the only reason. All right. So, giving an example, giving an introduction to animation montage. What is introduction? What is animation montage? Animation montage, by definition, are again an animation asset that is more like you can trigger an animation instantly from your blueprint without waiting for your state machine changes, and it gives you a lot of control. Sorry. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I'd swap between the PPT and the Unreal screen. Is that all right? Okay. So a few features or few advantages of having animation montage is precise control over your animation flow. When we talk about precise control, we have sections and branching, which we'll see soon in our Unreal example as well. You can jump to a section, or you branch between one section to other section, and that gives you a very good control over how to play your animation. It is event driven, It has something called as Anim notifies. You can have a single trigger Anim notify, or you could have Anim notify state, and it gives you an event-driven system that you can use in your blueprint to control your animation. You have blending and layering using animation montage. Blending is a way of using slots wherein you could blend between two animations, where your upper body could play a separate animation and your lower body could play a separate animation. It has root motion support, and it has an experimental feature called motion warping, which again we'll see in our example going forward. This motion warping is a pretty good feature to play synchronized animation and also to play animation where you have loop motion plus you wanted extended feature of loop motion. And you have easy network replication using animation montage. So getting back to our Unreal, first we'll see how we could create animation montage. It's pretty straightforward. You go to your animations that you have imported, all the FBX, you could just right click one and go to create, and it gives you an option to create animation montage. So randomly creating animation montage. The way we name this is AM, animation montage, plus montage. This is just an example. So when we open animation montage, you'll see the timeline over here. You'll see the montage window over here. You'll see all the asset details. You have a details panel, and you get to see notifies that you can add. You can have multiple tracks of notifies, and you also get to see all the animations that you have, a list of animations in animation asset browser. So let's start with something simple. This is a basic animation montage where you could just say with a button click, I could just say play montage, and I can give that am_montage. So let's try this out. It's on key press G. Sorry, I think we got the wrong control. Yeah. Need to give the reference of the skeletal mesh as well. Yeah, there. You have a simple animation montage playing. And it does not affect with your animation state that comes from animation blueprint. That still works. And you have a one-shot go playing an animation that will as simple as that. So to take it a little step further, I have a small example prepared over here that I can share with you. So I have an animation montage called AM Punch. So in this AM Punch, you'll see that it has more than one animation playing. So this first part is an animation. This animation is punch, hook in place, and then a punch straight forward, and then a punch uppercut. So what I'm trying to do here is having multiple animations being played in a single montage. And I have something called as slots. So these slots over here define where each animation starts. So the first slot by default is called default, and then I have a slot called forward for the forward punch, and then a slot called uppercut for the uppercut. And we have a montage section here, which gives an option to place slots in the way that we want. So from default, we go to forward, and then it loops in forward. And then from this animation stops here. It just goes from default to forward and keeps looping in forward. And I have another slot called uppercut. And this uppercut is called only if I could call it directly through the slot. So in my example again, you'll see, yeah. In my example again, you'll see that I'm playing an animation, and the starting section again is default. So if I play this, ideally what it should do is, let me disconnect this. It just should play my first animation, which is the hook in place, and then it should loop between punch straight forward. Let's see how that goes. That's hook in place and punch forward. So it just keeps looping. So how do I control this animation even further? Because I want my third animation to play as well, which is an uppercut. So here in this example, I'm going to start one more topic, which is Anim notify. I have something called as AN forward punch done here. So what is this Anim notify? Anim notify is again a blueprint class. We could create a blueprint class called Anim notify. And I could name it AN underscore notify. So when we open Anim Notify, we see that it brings in the event-driven feature of Anim Montage. Here, it's a single sort notify that we can give for animation. We have functions that we override called receive notify. Receive notify is called whenever Anim Notify comes in the timeline of our given Anim Montage. So I placed it here, and whenever this timeline passes, this AN forward punch, I'll get a receive notify. So I can do multiple things here. So in the example that I'm working with, I have an anim notify called forward punch done. So when we go to that anim notify forward punch done, 1 second. You see with the mesh component that I have, I'm getting the owner, I'm casting it to third person controller, and I'm calling a function called on forward punch end in my anim notify. So whenever this is called, whenever this notify is triggered in my montage timeline, I'll get a callback in the function on forward punch end. In on forward punch end, I'm just looping. I'm just incrementing a variable 3 times to see if I'm punching 3 times. And after that, I want to play the next section of my montage, which is the uppercut. So it's a simple incremental loop and then a branch to check if it is played 3 times. And then I'm playing the montage again with a different section. So if we see here again, by default, when we start our montage, it starts with the section default. It goes here, it plays this, and then it loops between forward. But every time it loops in the forward section, it gives a notify to me whenever this forward punch done is triggered. So here I'm just checking for it to loop 3 times, and then I'm going for going to call the third section, which is my uppercut. So let's see how that works right now. 1, 2, 3, and then an uppercut. Now my animation stops. Here I've also incorporated 3 animation to be played in the way I want. And also I'm able to have full control of it, call it whenever I want. I have an event-driven system to tell when I finish my forward punch. And also I get to call the third section on demand whenever I need. A few other examples going with this. You would have noticed we have a sound and a particle coming in the anim montage itself when the third uppercut is being played. So this again is a very easier feature, a very simple feature that we use in montage. We could add different particles and sound wherever we want. Say for example, I want to play a sound somewhere here. When the forward punch is happening, I could create a simple notify to play sound, and then I could give a random sound. Now if you see, whenever this forward is being played, you'll hear a sound. Yeah. So since I don't have an exact sound for that, I just played a random sound, but you get the idea of how to place a sound wherever in your animation. So this again is a simple feature, but it's very powerful since it lets you control or tell where you want a particle or a sound or a notify in your animation timeline. So all these notify tracks, they define, I mean, I keep different notify tracks for different various notifies, one for anim notify, one for uh, particles, and one for sound. This again gives you full control of what you can do with animation and how you can merge between 2 or 3 animations together and call them whenever you want using sections. So going forward with the same example, one other topic that we'll see here is anim notify state. So this is anim notify, whereas this is anim notify state. So the difference between an anim notify and an anim notify state, coming here, it's a one-shot event that fires a single frame, whereas anim notify state is a duration-based event. You get control over whether you want to notify something at the beginning of the track or the end or throughout the whole notify state. So the example that we have of anim notify is enable collider. So this, I don't know how many of you use it this way. Pretty much this is the standard way of enabling colliders whenever you have a game where you have physical combat like this. The way we do this is we don't want our character to have punch colliders enabled throughout the animation. Say we take this example. So when our hand is going back, in this part is where we actually want the collision to happen. Probably after this, you're not punching with your fist. And same here, when we are actually waiting for the punch to start, here we don't want the collision. But when the hand pushes forward, here we do want the collision. And the same when we come to the third section, all this place, there is no collision. And the collision turns on only when the hand goes up for the uppercut. So I have added a simple right hand and left hand collider for the mannequin. And I've added it to the parent sockets so that it stays with the hand. And this collision is now controlled through anim montage. We have anim montage state called ANS for anim notify state, sorry, ANS, and we call it enable collider. So if we go into this, we'll see that again, I'm getting a reference of the third person controller, and I'm saying set collider off and on. So on the begin of anim, again, you get to override the functions over here, which is notify begin, notify end, and notify tick. So on the receive notify begin, I'm enabling the hand collider, and on the notify end, I'm disabling the hand colliders. So when I play this all together, you'll see the hand collider, a function for hand collider being called in my third person character, which is set hand colliders. So here I'm branching out whether it's to enable or disable. On enable, I'm just enabling the left hand, right hand collider. I'm just printing a string so that you see that the colliders are enabled. And on disable, I'm just setting no collision for these 2 colliders. So when we play this, you'll see the print statements on the top left, the collider being enabled and disabled on different states. So this, again, coming to anim montage, is one very powerful feature where you have events that are just notify and then notify states. So we use this throughout our animation montage to get complete control of our animation in our blueprint classes. So that's pretty much about anim montage. So I've already talked about section, montage tracks, and slots. So section is where we had multiple animations and we've named sections so that we could call them during playbacks. And montage tracks are the lanes that we use to organize different animation. And one thing that we missed here is talking about slots. So what is slots? Slots in animation montage lets you play specific animation on specific parts of the body. So say, for example, we have default slot that's given here by our animation montage when we created it. We have an option to create new slots and also see all the slots that we have already. So the slots that we have already are default slot and just upper body. So what happens when you select upper body and how do you make it work? How you make your animation work only for your upper body? We need to go back to our animation montage, do a little bit of work here. So I have two Anim states here, which is locomotion and main state. So locomotion is again used in the main state, and the main state is the one that we'll be using. What we are doing here is we are going to blend different states with different slots. So when I first create a slot upper body, which is already there, sorry, this since is already there, not coming out. So here I can define how it blends with the other thing. So I have a cache state. I can just use my cache state and then blend this pose for the upper body. And when I blend these two per bone, and the bone that I'm giving is spine 1. So spine 1 comes somewhere, if you could see the bone also, it will come somewhere in the center of the body. So I'm just caching our main state for the base pose, and then I'm blending an upper body pose. So what happens now is my lower body should play whatever state the locomotion and the main state has, and my upper body should play what I'm giving in the Anim montage. So again, just an example, it might not look very nice or it will not blend well, but you get an idea of what's happening here. So if we give just upper body here and let's try to play, you'd see since we are not moving, our legs are in idle state, but if we get to move, you will see the walk pose is also happening, plus the upper body just plays the animation that we want from the Anim montage. Again, I did not have a good example to show you here since I'm limited with very few animations that blend very well together. But you get an idea. This again is a different topic, how we are going to blend. But Anim montage, if we look at just the Anim montage, we get an option to use a slot to play this Anim montage. You could have a slot only for lower body or only for upper body. But how you blend it with your main animation blueprint will let you play different slots here. So this is another feature in Anim montage that we see. And final thing is root motion. I'd probably have one example here, and I'd most probably try to end the whole discussion with root motion and what we can do with root motion and what we can do with motion warping in Anim montage. So for this, we need animations with root motion enabled. So what is animation with root motion and without root motion? If animation, for example, you'll see two animation here. Let me find a good example. Yeah, punch straight forward, punch in place. So both are pretty much same animation. This is just punching forward. This again will punch forward, but you'll see that there's a motion in the animation. So this is root motion animation, which again moves your character in your world when the animation plays. Whereas the other animation without root motion, it will not move your character. It will just play your character in the same place that you want. If you want to move your character, you'll have to do it manually through blueprint again. So what can we do with animations that have root motion? What is this motion warping? So Unreal has an experimental feature called motion warping, which allows you to extend this root motion in a way that is favorable for you. Say you have root motion only, say about 50 units. and you feel you want to hit a target which is very far away, what you can do here is use Unreal's motion warping, which is an experimental feature, and get your animation with root motion to extend it to move to different transform in the world. So we'll see how that works. So for this, first we need to enable a plugin called motion warping, which I've already enabled. So when you enable this, it will probably ask you to restart Unreal. And once you're having motion warping, you need to add a component called motion warping in your character. Wherever you feel, where you feel that needs a motion warping, you need to add this component called motion warping. Once that's in, it's pretty much playing your montage again and then calling a few notes just to do the motion warping. So the other example, let me come to that. Yeah. So this is a single animation with motion, with root motion, but you'll see that it plays only maybe 100 unit of movement. So let's see this montage without motion warping. I'll just remove. Just a second. Okay, I'm just playing this montage AM Haymaker, and when I play this, you'll see it just plays a hand swing and moves the character a little bit. So this is what I mean by root motion. But say, for example, this is my target, and I'm so far away from the target. When I play this animation, I want it to hit the target, but this is not happening right now. Even with motion warping, even with root motion, it just moves a little forward. It'll work right only if I'm straight in front of this character and do this. So with motion warping, you have a new notify that you can add called motion warping. Sorry, notify state that you can add called motion warping. And what it basically does, it lets your character select a target. Right now I'm calling it just target. So you have to give this target in your blueprint. It lets you select this target and it lets you do a wrap motion around the target. Like you want to, there are multiple ways. You could skew wrap or you could scale as a motion modifier, which is extending your already existent root motion. And you could use different rotation methods. You could limit your character from using different axes or from transitions. And this is a way for you to move your character in a way that it extends your root motion. So when you see here, I have added a motion warping animation notify state. I've given the target name as target, and I'm trying a screw wrap with rotation enabled, which is slurp. And here, whenever I play the montage, I get the target that I want to move to, and I give the transform. So once you added this component, you get multiple functions to set your target. So you could directly set your target, or you could set your target with transform, its location, position. You could do it in multiple ways. So right now what I'm doing is motion warping, and I'm updating the target by transform. So this target actor is the target actor that I have in the scene, the cylinder, and I've got the reference of that, and I'm just getting the actor transform and passing it to my motion warpings transform. Here I need to specify the same target that I've given in my motion warping animation notify state. So the one that I've given there is target. I'm giving the same over here as well. So what happens now is when I have a character here, And if I try to play the same animation, it uses motion warp. It moves my character to go near the target and then plays my animation. So this is defined by where I want the motion warping to happen. So I want the motion warping to happen in this small root motion that has already happened. I could even extend it a little bit higher to use the full of my root motion. You'll see how it will play now. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong animation. I'll go to the next one. You'll see it was sliding in smooth to reach the target. This is just a feature that you would have seen in multiple games where you are like very far away from the character, your victim or your enemy, and then you use animation and the character will jump to it or fly to that character just to hit it. So this is the way that we could do it in Unreal, where if your target is far away and you still want the motion warping to happen, you could still do this way. So this pretty much covers all the topic that I wanted to talk about in animation montage. I hopefully believe that it would have given a better idea of um, how to use animation montage in the first place, what are the features. At least it will give you a better perspective to choose between directly playing an animation or playing it as an animation montage with extra features that comes with it. That's pretty much it, and I'd like to end my discussion over here. Thank you. Sorry, your voice is breaking again. I couldn't hear you clearly. Yeah. We can definitely. Hmm. Sorry. Uh, can you please repeat that again? Sorry, your voice was breaking. Yeah. Hmm. I'm sorry to say this again. Can you type the question? It's very your voice is breaking too much. I couldn't figure out what you're saying. Yeah. As I'm waiting, I see the chat. Yes. Yeah. Where to start from, as in Unreal altogether, or okay? As a game developer, if you want to start, you right now there are two big game development engines that's pretty much used. That is Unity and Unreal. I'd say both have their own benefits, both have their own good and bad. If you want to start with Unreal, you get a very good feature, which is a blueprint coding, which is a visual coding, which is easier to understand, which is uh, pretty easy to jump into and start prototyping stuff. So I'd say Unreal with a little bit of blueprint coding even without coding, if you want to start, there are multiple things like the world setup itself. There's animation blueprints. There are multiple things that you can start in Unreal where you don't even have to initially start with blueprint coding also. So I definitely say go with Unreal initially and start with just setting up the world. There's lighting, there's post processing. Um, you could play around. You get a lot of characters or examples where or you could get the character running around in third person or first person view, and then you can build on top of it. It's pretty easy with Unreal. I would say start with Unreal, go for a simple third person character example, play around with the world, and then see how you can get this blueprint third person character and try to change it to make it the way you want it. Yeah. So the second question is, I'm very passionate about game development. I have an idea for PC game, but one of my senior is asking me to start with some mobile games. Do you think I should start with mobile game before doing a PC game? This is from Shanmugale. So it's nothing different in a PC and a mobile game. So if you already have a PC and you want to start a game, I think you could still go with a PC game. It's easier for you to play test and check this. And Unreal gives you a very good feature where you can create a game for PC and you can easily change it to a mobile game when you want it. So go ahead, start your game in PC. You can test it, you can play around, and then when you want, you can like switch back to changing a few things and convert your game to work on mobile whenever you want. I think that answered Shanmugavel's question. Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to do small games for mobile using Unreal, or is it heavy? So if you have to compare between Unreal and Unity, I'd say Unity is lightweight, Unreal is a little heavy. Yes, that is true. Because Unreal packs in a lot of libraries for your build, even if you need it or not. So doing a mobile game for Unreal, I have personally done mobile game for Unreal that comes around 200, 300 MB size. But if you want it to be less than 100 MB, less than 50 MB, then Unity is the way to go. Unreal gives you more features than Unity if you are doing for mobile game. It comes in with the packed features that you can directly use for your gameplay, like say for an enemy AI and all, you can easily go with something called as behavior tree in Unreal. Whereas in Unity, you might have plugins doing the same, but it's not already packed in with Unreal. So that's where I say Unreal is heavy since it comes with a lot of features, a lot of libraries already packed in. So if you want to do a mobile game for Unreal, you could still do it, but you will never get it as small as how you can do it in Unity. That's my answer to that. So our upcoming game, it's a multiplayer combat racing game. This is one of a kind of a genre which has not been touched recently in game development. You have a lot of racing game, you have a lot of shooting game, but mixing racing and shooting, there are a few old games like Outcast and forgot the name of the other one. There are a few games that are like almost 10 year back which had this genre. So we are trying to recreate this genre of games, which is combat racing, and we are doing it completely Indian based. So you'd see cars that are very familiar to you, old cars. that you've seen almost 10, 20 years back in India. Um, and you'd also have a wonderful combat racing where you could have features of all the weapons and everything. You could customize your car and all that. So, the stage we are at is, I would say, a very early prototyping stage. We are trying out different weapons. We are trying out different cars. We are using a feature from Unreal called Chaos Vehicle, which gives you a complete control of your wheeled vehicle um, character. So this is what we are at right now. We are experimenting different ways that we can have our vehicle moving, um, have it um arcade or very realistic. Trying out that, and then we are trying out multiple weapons, prototyping them. We are working on a customization feature where you can customize your vehicle and also customize all the weapon that you can attach to the vehicle. So it's we have a demo which I sadly don't have right now. I cannot share it with you also, but we have a video. You probably can see it somewhere online, or I'll make sure that it gets shared around in this group pretty soon. That's that's about it. What is the last question? Is it okay? So the next question, I'm learning Unity now. I'm passionate about gaming, but current market, I can only see a lot of opening for VR and AR. As a career advice, I choose game dev or AR or VR. From Sharat Kumar. Uh, I would say these are not very different um, verticals. This game development, this AR and VR, it's more about what engine that you are studying. So you already know Unity. And I don't see a big difference in AR and VR and game development. Unity gives you a way to do all these three. You can create a game first and then convert it to a AR or a VR game pretty easily using Unity. So I'd say focus more on the engine that you're learning. Say in your case, it's Unity. And the industry is open in all these three verticals. You could go into game development, you could be a AR developer, or you could be a VR developer. Uh, so it doesn't really matter whether you have to focus in AR or VR. It's just few plugins or few extra engine features that you'll be using in this AR and VR. Otherwise, it's just game development again. Yes, I'll get it shared through the group. I sadly don't have that trailer right here with me. We could share a demo game if possible. I just need to ask the management, but definitely I can share a video of how the game looks. Again, since I don't have it here in this current PC that I'm using right now, I couldn't share. But I'll make sure that this group gets the demo trailer of our game. It's called Roadsters Odyssey. I'll make sure that you guys get it soon. Hello. Uh, Sorry again, I couldn't hear your voice clearly. Vignesh, can you please type that? Oh, we have posted the site in description. Please ask people to check. Okay. Since the description, the video, this call's description has the site, you guys can check the site. But let me first check if we have a video in our site as well. because it's still in development. We are not sharing a lot of things yet, or to be very specific, we still have only a demo of few things that doesn't completely do justice to all the development that we've done so far. So I'll definitely get a video done specific for this audience, and I'll get it shared soon. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Uh, I heard till the thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear the last sentence, but thanks for having me again. It was nice giving out a little insight of what we actually use in our game development and how we use it. It's really exciting for me as well to show a live demo like this and explain things. I really hope that you guys understood or enjoyed this. Uh, and I definitely remember the request. I'll share a video of our game trailer or a demo or a little bit of gameplay so that you get an idea of what we are actually working on. And thanks for having me, Vignesh. Thank you. I'll be leaving the meeting now. Is it all right? Yeah. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.